Hello friends, today I take up a new topic and the name of the topic is India-Pakistan relations, a story of constant conflict. So my lesson plan includes why is it in the news, means why I have taken up this topic. Secondly, introduction. Third, economic condition of Pakistan. Fourth, the seeds of discord after independence, the relation between India and Pakistan, and then Indian efforts for normalization of relation, Pakistan foreign policy towards India, comparison between India and Pakistan, and finally conclusion. Friends, if you like my channel, please share and subscribe. This is free channel. Tell your friend that they can get numerous videos just by writing AJIS Academy Indore on YouTube. So please share and subscribe my channel. Friends, why you should read my lectures? Because I include all the facets of a particular topic. You may read newspaper, you can watch television, but because of the lack of time, what you see that you get only unidimensional views of a particular topic. But here what you find that my lecture is multidimensional. I encompass all the gamuts of a particular topic, and that's why my lesson plan includes so many points, and it will be beneficial for you to write down answer in examination. If you just listen to my video or lecture, it will be sufficient to write answer just reading these points under this topic. So friend, now let us start the proceedings. Why is it in the news? First of all, you see the map of India and Pakistan. It is necessary that we must know where is the location of India and its neighbor Pakistan. So you see the green color, and this is India, and then this is the yellow color in the western region, and so we see this is the Pakistan. This is Pakistan, and its neighbor is Afghanistan, where the now Taliban government is running. Now this is a small country, and this one is Nepal, and in this the pink color denotes the country of Bangladesh. Earlier, before 1971, Pakistan and Bangladesh were both the same country, and it arose by the partition of India in 1947. So friends, now this is Sri Lanka, and this is Indian Ocean. This one is the Bay of Bengal, and this one is Arabian Sea. So this is the map of India. India is located in the South Asia, and Pakistan is also the part of South Asia. Before 1947, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh were one country and a part of the British India. Now this one is the China-Pakistan economic corridor at the cost of $62 billion American dollar, and this corridor from Kashgar to Gwadar port in Arabian Sea. This is the from which, and the Kashgar is a city is in the Xinjiang province of China, and you see this map there how this CPEC runs through the disputed territory of Jammu and Kashmir, which has been captured, illegally captured by Pakistan in 1947. And now, that's why India has objected to the building of this CPEC. And this CPEC goes through Pakistan and its province Balochistan, and then up to Gwadar port in Arabian Sea. And you see this map, here you will find a Strait of Hormuz. And this is most important, and thereafter the Persian Gulf. This is most important strategic location. And so, by this map, I want to just pinpoint that you see this map. This is Chabahar port, this one, near the port of Hormuz, and this Chabahar port is being developed by India. And Gwadar port is being developed by China, and it is in the Balochistan, in the mouth of Arabian Sea. So you see, now through this Chabahar port, India wants to go to Afghanistan and then to Central Asia, just crossing through Iran. So then when the port will be built up, there will no need of Pakistan, and this buffer state will be of no use for India. And then India, the transport facility between India and Afghanistan and other Central Asian countries like Kazakhstan or Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, all these countries will be linked with India. So this is the most important port, that is Chabahar port, that is being developed by India. Now, with the construction of Gwadar port and Chinese entry through CPEC, it will create a lot of problem for India in near future. So, moreover, Chinese will have direct access to Arabian Sea within 2 to 3 days, while now it takes 20 to 25 days for Chinese goods to enter into Arabian Sea via Indian Ocean. So this is the geographical and topographical location that was required to be discussed before we will discuss India-Pakistan relation. Now friends, why is it in the news? Why I have taken this topic? Number one, Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan on Tuesday, just yesterday, proposed a television debate with Indian Prime Minister to resolve differences between the two neighbors. Abdul Razak Dawood, advisor of Pakistani Prime Minister, said that trade with India is the need of the hour and beneficial to both countries. Imran Khan said that India became a hostile country and so trade with them it became minimal. So friends, why? Now Pakistani Prime Minister wants a debate with Indian Prime Minister for the normalization of relation between India and Pakistan to establish trade relation between two countries. Why? I will discuss it later on. That's why Imran Khan, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, invited Indian Prime Minister for television debate regarding the normalization of relation between two countries. Now Imran Khan cited limited trade option available with Pakistan in Asia. Why? Because there is sanction of the US over Iran. Then there is a bloody war going on within Afghanistan. There is a virtual turmoil once Taliban established its rule over Afghanistan on 15th August last year. And so now Pakistan has been cornered. Why? Because there is no trade relation with India after India abrogated Article 370 and reduced the status of the province Jammu Kashmir into union territories. Pakistan very much objected to this changeover and it tore the bilateral trade between India and Pakistan. Now, Indian Foreign Minister is yet to respond to the remarks made by Pakistani Prime Minister. So, in the wake of this news item that has been published in different newspapers, I have taken up this topic, India-Pakistan relation, a story of constant conflict. Now, introduction. Friends, as you know that after partition, two countries emerged, India and Pakistan. And in 1971, Pakistan was bifurcated between two countries. The eastern Pakistan became a new country called Bangladesh. So, we see that the relation between India and Pakistan since its inception has been complex. Within 2 months of the independence, Pakistan just invaded Jammu Kashmir, snatched 1/3 territory of Jammu Kashmir, Gilgit-Baltistan, and of the Karakoram areas, which has now been ceded to China. It is around 5,000 square kilometer. So India-Pakistan fought 4 wars. In 1947, it continued to 1948. And then in 1965, when Lal Bahadur Shastri was Prime Minister of India, then in 1971, whereby a new country, Bangladesh, was created and 90,000 Pakistani army had to surrender before Indian army, and India also ceded the captured territory in the western zone of Pakistan by Simla Agreement. And by the Simla Agreement, it was decided that whenever there will be any issue between both countries, that will be decided bilaterally without interference of any third party. That was the most important clause of Simla Agreement, which was signed in 1972 between Srimati Indira Gandhi, the then Prime Minister of India, and Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, the Prime Minister of Pakistan. Now, in 1999, again Kargil war was waged between India and Pakistan over Siachen Glacier, and in every war, Pakistan had to eat humble pie, and that's why since 90s onward, Pakistan waged proxy war by exporting terrorists into the soil of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, friends, as you see that even before independence, Muslim League and Congress had divergent views about the idea of India. Congress wanted a united India, transcending religion, caste, creed, color, sex, place of birth. But Pakistan, Muslim League wanted a separate homeland for Muslims. It believed, the founder of Pakistan, I mean Jinnah, believed in two-nation theory. According to him, Hindus and Muslims have separate cultures, separate religions, different histories, different food habits, different dresses, different political thinkings, and so they cannot remain united. They cannot remain united peacefully in a united India. And that's why they demanded separate homeland for majority Muslims. Now, after independence, India and Pakistan took divergent foreign policy. Why I am telling this? India, on the one hand, adopted the policy of non-alignment. It means that it will not be aligned to any military bloc which came into being after Cold War. After the end of the Second World War, one bloc was being led by the US and another bloc was led by the Soviet Union. India positioned itself as neutral, but non-alignment was more than neutrality. It meant that it will decide every international issues on merit and will give opinion which will suit its national interest. So now friends, what you see? On the other hand, Pakistan aligned with the Western Bloc, I mean the US. It signed military treaty with the US. It became the part of the military alliance launched by the US, that is CENTO, Central Treaty Organization, Baghdad Treaty, or ASEAN. I mean SEATO, Southeast Asia Treaty. So by these treaties, Pakistan aligned itself with the Western Bloc. Just contrast to the Indian policy of non-alignment. Now, what you see, the military standoff, India and Pakistan waged 4 wars in the past, and then in 2001, in Indian Parliament attack by the terrorists raised concern over nuclear war. 2007 Samjhauta Express bombing, killing of 68 civilians. In 2008 Mumbai attacks, killing hundreds of people. In 2016 Pathankot attack. In 2019 Pulwama attack, where more than 40 CRPF jawans were killed. So India had given most favored nation trade status to Pakistan. Now it was revoked because of these terrorist activities clandestinely by Pakistan. And India increased custom duty to 200%. In relation between two countries has remained frigid following the repeated acts of cross-border terrorism. So friends, as you know, that for the last 30 to 40 years, Pakistan has been waging proxy war because it realized that in the direct war it cannot achieve victory. It waged 4 wars against India, and in every war Pakistan had to eat humble pie before India, and that's why it changed its strategy. and adopted the policy of Bhutto to give 1,000 cuts to India, and that's why it adopted proxy war against India by exporting terrorists into the soil of Jammu and Kashmir. Earlier, it launched vigorous clandestine activities in Punjab and supported indirectly terrorists of Punjab who wanted to establish Khalistan in 1980s under the leadership of Bhinderwala. Now, friends, I switch over to another point. Why Pakistani Prime Minister was forced to say that he wants to have a debate on television with the Indian Prime Minister? What are the reasons behind this? Friends, as you know, that Pakistan is now in shambles, and now I am switching over to another point, and this is economic condition of Pakistan. Number one, inflation is now 10% in Pakistan. Oil prices have shot up to 130% since 2018. The cost of fuel has risen to 45% to 145 rupees per liter. So what you see, cooking oil prices have shot up to 130% and the cost of fuel has risen to 45%. This is 145 rupees per liter. Again, there is increased unemployment. People have no avenues for employment. The economy has become stagnant for the last 3 years. Pakistani rupee dipped to 12% to the dollar since July last year. Again, Pakistan has to service nearly $127 billion American dollar in debt. Pakistan is on the brink of defaulting. Islamabad has recently tapped 3 billion American dollar each from China and Saudi Arabia and 2 billion American dollar from United Arab Emirates. In addition, Pakistan has also sought debt to the tune of $3 billion from International Monetary Fund. So, what you see, that Pakistan is now borrowing from one country after another country. Again, tax evasion is rampant in Pakistan. Only 2 million people paid tax in 2020. And so, what you see, that Pakistan is now on the verge of collapse. And that's why Pakistani Prime Minister was forced to say that he wanted to have debate with the Indian Prime Minister over television, and the main purpose is to establish bilateral trade between India and Pakistan. Because of the ban of Pakistani goods into India, because of raising of 200% custom duties on Pakistani goods, now the trade between India and Pakistan has become virtually nil. So, on the one hand, what you see that because of sanction of the US over Iran, Pakistan can't establish bilateral relation with Iran. On the other hand, in its backyard, in Afghanistan, since the control of Taliban over Afghanistan, trade relation between Pakistan and Afghanistan or with Central Asian country has become virtually impossible. Nothing. So what you see, that Pakistan has now become a cornered country. It is thoroughly dependent upon China now. Its relation with China has increased with the passage of time, and now it has started distancing itself from the US. So friends, now I switch over to another point, that is seeds of discord. What are the reasons for the hostility or enmity between two countries? Now, why? I have already told you that during the period of freedom struggle, Congress and Muslim League had divergent views about the idea of India. While Congress wanted a united India, transcending all kinds of barriers like religion, caste, creed, color, place of birth, Muslim League wanted a separate homeland for Muslim majority areas. So, after independence, its foreign policy was just opposite to India. While India adopted non-alignment policy, Pakistan adopted pro-Western policy. And so what you see, that Pakistan became the satellite country of the Western Bloc, and it played the part of the great game policy of the British imperialist. Friends, you know that the great game policy of the Britishers since 1850s was to restrict Russians to enter into warm waters, so that Russians should not enter into Indian Ocean. And that's why they wanted a buffer state where they can land their helicopter. They could land their helicopters, their aeroplanes. They could recruit armies from the border area of Pakistan to subserve their needs in Middle East, where they had great stake in oil mining and oil productions. So, because of this national interest of Britain, they carved out a separate homeland for Muslim in western area of India. So friends, this is the reason of discord between India and Pakistan. In addition, it is the firm belief of Pakistan that because Jammu and Kashmir has largest population of Muslims, so it has right over Jammu and Kashmir. But the perspective of India is quite different. India believes in secularism, in a secular state, where there is no question of religion, no loyalty of religion or religious denomination has any value in the Indian setup. Everybody is equal before law, irrespective of his religious affiliation. So, it is the perception of or firm belief of Indian government that Jammu and Kashmir is part and parcel of India, because people wanted to merge with India, and Maharaja of Jammu and Kashmir signed over the merger paper, I mean annexation paper. And so India has legal claim over Jammu and Kashmir. But for Pakistan, Jammu and Kashmir, since it is Muslim majority area, Pakistan claims over it. And that's why we see that after independence, within 2 months, Pakistan invaded Jammu and Kashmir and snatched 1/3 of its area, including Gilgit and Baltistan. So, we see that the discord between India and Pakistan, Congress and Muslim League, now transferred to the international stage with the creation of two nations, India and Pakistan. And when Jammu and Kashmir was attacked by Pakistan, the UN resolution asked for ceasefire and a plebiscite was to be held before fulfilling two conditions. Number one, that all the Pakistani forces must withdraw from the entire Jammu and Kashmir, and the authority of Srinagar should extend to the whole Jammu Kashmir. And now, friends, we see that both the conditions of the UN were not fulfilled by Pakistan. Pakistan did not withdraw its army from occupied Jammu and Kashmir. And so, it is still, this problem is still lingering on, and between these years, what you see, that China-Pakistan economic corridor is being built and it passes through the disputed land of Jammu and Kashmir. So, what were the efforts of India for the normalization of relation between two countries? Number one, division of pre-partition assets was smoothly conducted by the then Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru, in spite of the steep opposition from different quarters because of the hostility of Pakistan and because of the invasion of Pakistan on Jammu and Kashmir. Again, compensation to refugees were provided by India. Thirdly, division of Indus Basin water in 1960. By this treaty, the water of Indus River, Jhelum, Chenab will be utilized by Pakistan, while the water of Beas, Satluj and Ravi would be utilized by India. So, this treaty is landmark treaty. But Pakistan has always been ungrateful. It was because of the efforts of World Bank that this Indus River Treaty was signed. In 1972, after the end of war between India and Pakistan in 1971 and the creation of Bangladesh, Pakistani 90,000 Pakistani army surrendered before Indian army, and by this Simla agreement in 1972, these surrender army were handed over to Pakistan, and all the areas captured by Indian army in western sectors of Pakistan were also ceded to Pakistan. Confidence building measures such as 2003 agreement, ceasefire agreements, Delhi-Lahore bus service, Lahore Declaration in 1999, whereas both the countries pledged that they will not use nuclear weapons against another. Agra summit in 2001, which became a failure between the then Prime Minister of India, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, and Musharraf, the dictator of Pakistan, and restarting of cricket matches between two countries, easing visa restriction, cooperation on economic front, like giving most favored nations treatment to Pakistan. Now it has been withdrawn. Now I switch over to another point. What is the foreign policy of Pakistan vis-a-vis India? We must understand it. Number one, Pakistan wants parity with India. And this is just an irrational approach. Earlier, it made alliances, military alliances with the US with the hope that it will be saved from the onslaught of India. Now it has made axis or close friendship with China with the hope to counter India, and that's why it purchases lots of arms and ammunitions to equate itself with India. Now it wants a satellite government in Afghanistan in order to have in-depth backyard maneuverability. Friends, as you know that the Taliban government is now established in Afghanistan, and everybody knows that in spite of the warning by the US, which controlled Afghanistan for 20 years, Pakistan did not pay heed upon the advice of the US, and it clandestinely supported Taliban for the last 20 years. And now the Taliban government in Afghanistan has very much cordial relationship with Pakistan. Pakistan organized OIC countries, Organization of Islamic Countries, in Islamabad recently in order to support Afghanistan, war-torn Afghanistan economically on humanitarian ground. Now I switch over to another point, comparison between India and Pakistan. Friends, in 2020, what you see, India's GDP, $3 trillion, is 10 times, more than 10 times higher than the Pakistan's GDP. It is 263 billion American dollar. So Indian economy is 10 times larger, more than 10 times larger than that of Pakistan. India is 5th largest economy in terms of nominal GDP and 3rd largest country in terms of PPP, purchasing power parity terms, while Pakistan is 48 in nominal GDP terms and 24th in purchasing power parity ranks. So what you see, that the objective of Pakistan to have parity of India is thoroughly unfounded, baseless and irrational, and that's why the military junta in Pakistan always tried to have parity with India so that its predominance in Pakistani politics, Pakistani society should remain intact. Now in 1970, the per capita GDP of Pakistan was bigger than that of India. It was 1.54 times greater than India, and in 2020 what you see, that now Pakistan is in the reverse gear. India's per capita income is now 1.56 times greater than that of Pakistan. So while India is prospering by leaps and bounds with the passage of time, Pakistan is lagging behind. India is the fourth largest military power in the world, while Pakistan is the sixth largest military power in the world. But Pakistan has just half of the personnel of India. Again, Indian defense budget is 6 times greater than that of Pakistan. In terms of fighter aircraft, helicopters, combat tank strength submarines, naval destroyers, ports and terminals, India is far ahead of Pakistan. So friends, we see that when we compare India with Pakistan militarily and on economic front, we find that India is surging ahead by leaps and bounds, while Pakistan is going bad to worse. With the passage of time, its per capita GDP is declining. It is going into the debt trap. It has borrowed from China, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates and International Monetary Funds. Its tax base is very, very small. Tax evasion is rampant in Pakistani society. Corruption has become the way of life for Pakistan. So what you see, that Pakistan is now on the verge of collapse. And the only silver lining for Pakistan is to have alliance with China. Pakistan hopes that with the alliance of China, it will improve its economic status in South Asia, and it will boost its military power vis-a-vis India in South Asia and Southeast Asia. So one of the important objectives of Pakistan is to counter India from becoming the great regional power in Asia. That's why we see that Pakistan now is shrinking or becoming a satellite country of China. It endorses every action of China. For example, the oppression of Uyghur Muslims in Xinjiang province, or other kind of human rights violation are being overlooked by Pakistan. Pakistan supports Chinese occupation over Tibet, genocide in Xinjiang province of Uyghur Muslims, on the issue of Hong Kong, on the issue of Taiwan, and it has supported one China policy. It has also supported one belt, one road initiative of China. So now both the countries have become too much aligned militarily and economically. And once CPEC will be completed, the Pakistan economy will be integrated with Chinese economy further. To fight skyrocketing inflation in Pakistan, because now it has gone to the intolerable level, and that's why it wants to have a cordial relation with India. So friend, now what is my conclusion? My conclusion is that every confrontation can be mitigated only by reconciliation process. Confrontation between two people or two nations are always bad. So there is need for reconciliation between two countries with certain conditions should be slapped on Pakistan, that it must stop proxy war against India, it must control terrorist activities on the border of Jammu and Kashmir, because I think that the prosperity, peace will only prevail with the normalization of relation between India and Pakistan, and it is necessary. Why? Because the South Asian region is the most poor region of the one of the poorest region of the world. So instead of spending on warfare, it will be prudent for all of us, an act of wisdom for all of us, to concentrate upon the economic development of both countries, and particularly those people who are living below the poverty line. Again, the growing influence or the growing economic power of China must be counterbalanced by India with the alliance of countries like Japan, Vietnam, or countries of ASEAN, Association of Southeast Asian Nations. And that's why now India has started selling BrahMos missile to Philippines. So the Indian focus should be to keep Indian Ocean as a free zone with the alliance of the US, Japan, Vietnam, and the littoral states of Indian Oceans to counteract China. So friends, now I am winding up my lecture. If you like my lecture, please share and subscribe. Please give your valuable comments so that I can improve upon in the next lectures. Thank you very much.